I'm not Eric Johnson, but I do have a tube driver. I also have a Strat. Can that help me get anywhere close? Let's find out. Regarding the tube driver, I did want to mention that in that jam, I wanted to show that in addition to kind of trying to do the EJ thing, in that second half of the little jam, when I went to the neck pickup and opened up my tone knob more trebly, backed off on the volume a little bit, that, you know, it has more uses than just going after the super saturated violin thing. So I wanted to tack that on the front here before we talk about the rest. All right, I'm going to make this quick because I'm not Eric Johnson and you're not Eric Johnson. And there's only so many things we can do to try to take steps to get in that ballpark. I already showed the tube driver. That obviously helps. It's something he's using his rig for decades, into the Marshall with echo or delay dialed in as needed. And, you know, the tube driver does have a certain sound and compression that can kind of help you get there. I will say that there are pedals that some of them are made to kind of do that tube driver thing, and they sound great. But you can also be surprised at what kinds of overdrives and distortions can get you in that ballpark if you use them and use extreme tone settings on them, basically rolling off all or a lot of the treble. It could definitely get you closer to where you are as far as steps toward that thick EJ violin tone. I also talk about guitar setup a little bit. This is my most Eric Johnson setup Strat. It's got pickups. I don't even think the company exists anymore, but they're de-Allen Dovers, so they're supposed to kind of do that thing. But what I will say, on a Strat, you use your bridge pickup, but you need to roll back the tone knob. And that gives you the attack, but also the thickness. of the tone. So it's a balance between the attack of the bridge pickup, but rolling off the tone knob enough to get the thickness you need for the violin-esque type deal. A lot of Strats, I don't know why, they come factory without the tone knob wired to the bridge pickup. That's the first thing I do on any Strat I have. It makes that bridge pickup so much more useful and pleasant to have the tone knob. And just, we'll illustrate that real quick. So this is with my tone knob rolled back. This is with it wide open. I almost couldn't play that, man. That's ice pick. So you see the difference in what using the tone knob can do. And that leads us into the Pentatonics we're using that, EJ's famous for. And I've heard it called cascading or turnaround pentatonics, but it's basically pentatonic licks that will descend and then ascend back up one note and turn around and then keep going. And, you can do that in several different ways, and I would encourage you to find the patterns that work for you. Obviously, it's going to be better if you know more pentatonic positions. You can kind of roll the positions into each other, but a lot of getting that bouncy pentatonic sound he has is from those cascades or turnarounds with the pentatonics. Also, Eric Johnson does a lot of his pentatonic phrases when he's playing fast in fives or sevens, like the ones I was just doing are fives. So one, two, three, four, five. And the sevens are going to be like. And again, you're going to have to take that and use that where it fits in your toolbox. And it, I'm not quoting any Eric Johnson licks. I haven't sat down and transcribed his solos, but they're just the little things I can do when I want to try to add a little of that Eric Johnson flavor. And then last, I'll talk about the picking technique or the attack technique. That's one of the most commonly missed ingredients when I hear people try to do Eric Johnson, and frankly, players that are way better than me do it. I've listened to guys that are just ripping through Cliffs of Dover note for note, and it's like something's missing. They're hitting the notes right. They got kind of a thick lead tone, and what it is that subdued pick attack. Eric has, when he does that violin thing, he has a pick attack that is very subdued, and that's a lot of what gives it that liquidy sound. I really wasn't able to get closer to it until I started using my fingers. Eric uses a pick. I don't know how he does it with a pick. There are people that do it well with a pick, but what I will say is you can have everything right, and if you're not subduing that attack, it'll just sound like somebody doing a cover of Eric Johnson and not really getting the essence of Eric Johnson. And just, I'll illustrate that. I hadn't used a pick in years, but I did use a pick for the first 20 years I played guitar. But just check this out. I'm not changing any settings on my guitar. I'm just turning the volume up. See how different that sounds? Than this. So that attack or lack thereof is a really essential ingredient, and I encourage you, if you want to take steps to be able to just, get kind of an EJ thing going in your playing sometimes when you're improvising or whatever, to figure out what that subdued pick attack is gonna look like for you. I wish I could give you a tip on how to do it with a pick, but I threw mine away. I got rid of it, and that helped me do it. So that's definitely not the path for everybody, but that's something to think about. The takeaway there is subdued pick attack. Find out a way to do it if you really want to get that violin-esque tone. Those are just a few things that can help you get in the ballpark. I've used the term essence of Eric Johnson, and really that's all I try to do when I want to call on my inner Eric, is try to cop some of the essence of what he does and throw it in spots, and that's about as close as any of us mortals are going to get anyway. But those are all little steps you can take to help you get in the ballpark if you want to fool with it. And like I said, all those things you can take and fit into your playing and how you may change the approach and how it fits in your toolbox. So that's it for this edition of Guitar Vacation. Until the next time, you enjoy your guitar vacation. Later.